Primeval darkness. The action of Das Rheingold begins at night in the depths of the River Rhine. Three Rhine maidens inhabit this realm, assigned by the gods to guard a golden rock. They swim about singing their carefree song. A dwarfish intruder disturbs their play. It is Alberic of the repulsive Nibelung clan, metalsmiths who live under the earth. He clambers up the slippery rocks, trying to take one of the Rhine maidens, but they tease him and escape. Enraged by their laughter, he cries out in woe. Suddenly, the rising sun shines on the powerful gold. The Rhine maidens greet their treasure. When Alberic asks them why they guard the gold, they carelessly tell him that it would be the key to all wealth and power in the world if it were forged into a ring. But no man could do so without an eternal renunciation of love. This is exactly what Alberic does. He curses love, seizes the golden rock, and disappears. The horrified Rhine maidens dive in pursuit to the sound of Alberic's mocking laughter. The waters vanish in darkness, which gradually turns into mist. As dawn disperses the clouds, we see an open mountain height, realm of the gods. On a flowery bank lie Wotan, chief of the gods, and Fricka, his wife. In the distance, their newly built castle, Valhalla. Fricka accuses Wotan of having made a bad bargain with the giant brothers Fasolt and Fafnir for building Valhalla, sealing his treaty with an oath on his spear. Wotan pledged to give the giants a bride, his wife's own sister, Freya. And Fricka accuses him of building a fortress rather than a domestic abode, and of amorous wanderings on earth. But Wotan reminds his wife that he gave one of his eyes to woo her, and promises that he will not give Freya to those coarse creatures. The god of fire, Loga, will help him devise a way out. Freya appears, pursued by the giants. They mean to hold Wotan to his bargain, saying that the god's power will be nullified if he does not keep his treaties. Actually, Fasolt desires Freya, but Fafnir wants mainly to destroy the gods by taking from them the goddess who tends the golden apples, the source of their eternal youth. As the giant sees Freya, her brothers Fro and Donner rush in to save her. Wotan raises his spear to prevent violence, and at last Loga appears.
Endlich Loge! Eignest du so, den geschlossen den schlimmen Handel zu schlichten?
Loga must devise a solution through his devious ingenuity, his craftiness. The god of fire had searched through the world, but found no ransom that would persuade a man to renounce love. Finally, he heard from the Rhine maidens how Alberich cursed love and stole their gold, and has already forged the all-powerful ring. If the gold could be stolen in turn from Alberich, the giants would accept it in place of Freya. Wotan hesitates, and the giants drag her away. Without Freya and her golden apples, the gods fall into gloom and begin to grow old. Spurred to act, Wotan follows Loga through a rocky cleft to the Nibelung subterranean realm. As the scene changes, we hear the anvils of the slaving Nibelungs. Deep under the earth, Alberich has enslaved the entire race of Nibelungs, including his brother Mima, by power of the ring. He had ordered Mima to fashion a magic cap whose wearer can change shape at will. Putting it on, he demonstrates the power of the Tarnhelm. Vanishing from sight, he whips his brother cruelly, then goes to supervise his other slaves. Wotan and Loga appear and offer to help Mima get revenge. Alberich returns, lashing at a throng of Nibelungs who pile up the treasures they have forged, and then he drives them away in terror by raising his hand to show the ring's power. Alberich boasts to his visitors that one day the Nibelungs will rule the earth by means of their great treasure. Alberich says that the Tarnhelm has made him invincible, and Loga dares him to prove it. First, he changes into a dragon. And then, since Loga claims it would be more difficult, into a toad. Wotan sets his foot on the toad while Loga seizes the Tarnhelm. Then they bind Alberich in his natural shape and drag him back to their mountain height, where they make him summon the Nibelungs and hand over all his treasure. Finally, Alberich is forced to give Wotan the ring. "Am I free, really free?" he snarls in hatred. Then, as the curse came to me, I curse this ring. Alberich predicts that the ring's power will bring only misery for its owner, and creeps away. The giants return with Freya. If they are to give her up, Fasolt demands that the gold be stacked high enough to conceal her from his eyes. Even the Tarnhelm must cover her hair. But through a chink, one of her eyes is seen, and Fafnir demands the ring, which Wotan already wears on his finger. The chief of the gods refuses, and the giants are about to drag Freya away when there appears the primal nature spirit, the goddess of fate, Erda. She tells Wotan that he must give up the ring, that moreover, a dark twilight will fall upon the gods. Though Wotan would know more of her secrets, she disappears, and he reluctantly gives up the ring. Its terrible power is immediately proven, as the giants quarrel over the spoils and Fafnir strikes his brother dead, then makes off with the gold. Wotan is lost in gloomy contemplation, but the other gods urge him to enter Valhalla. Donner clears away the mists that conceal the castle from view with one of his thunderclaps. A great rainbow bridge appears. As the gods set out over the bridge for Valhalla, Loge cynically lags behind, for he knows the old order is doomed. From below on the river, the Rhine maidens plead for the return of their gold, but Loge teasingly answers that they must henceforth be content to bask in the shining glory of the gods. A storm rages in the great forest, setting the scene for the Valkyrie. Donner's thunder and lightning shatter the darkness. Into a forest dwelling, built around the trunk of a huge tree, stumbles a warrior, weary and wounded from battle. It is Sigmund. The room is empty, and the weaponless Sigmund falls down to sleep before the hearth as the storm subsides. A woman appears from an inner chamber and takes pity on the stranger. She is Sieglinde. When he awakens, he asks for water, and as they look into each other's eyes, they are overcome by love. Sieglinde tells him that her husband Hunding will give him hospitality. She offers him mead and persuades him not to leave. There is a clatter of horses, and at the door appears Hunding. Hunding notes a strong resemblance between the stranger and his wife, and distrustfully questions him. Sigmund relates how, when he was a child, he was separated from his mother and twin sister, and later his father. Though he does not know it, his father was Wotan. Sigmund has ever since found only misery and hostility in the world, for he is one of the unfortunate Volsung clan. In his latest exploit, Sigmund battled to save a girl from forced marriage. She died, but many of her abductors were slain. These were, in fact, Hunding's kinsmen. Tonight, by the laws of hospitality, Hunding must shelter Siegmund, but in the morning they will fight. As Hunding retires with Sieglinde, she glances toward the tree trunk in the center of the room. Siegmund, alone, recalls that his father promised that he would find a mighty weapon in his hour of greatest need. Just then, the fire reflects on the tree trunk, into which has been thrust a sword. Sieglinde returns, having drugged her husband into deep sleep. She tells Siegmund that she too was forced into her marriage, and that the sword was placed there by a one-eyed guest at her wedding. He hinted that it was the key to her rescue, but no man yet has been able to withdraw it. In Siegmund, at last, she sees the hero who might do so. Suddenly, the door is blown open, admitting moonlight and the sounds of spring. In the spring, Siegmund says, he has come to rescue his sister, and she replies that she knew him as her lover on first sight. Siegmund draws the sword from the tree and calls it Notum, need. He embraces Sieglinde with mounting rapture. And the curtain falls. Act 2 takes place in a mountain pass, where Wotan awaits the battle between Siegmund and Hunding. 9 daughters born to him by Erda serve him as Valkyries, aiding warriors in distress and carrying fallen heroes to Valhalla. Of these, he sends to help Siegmund his favorite, Brunhilde. Fricka, however, as guardian of wedlock, is outraged at the union of brother and sister and demands that Siegmund be slain. Wotan insists that Siegmund is a hero in his own right, and Fricka's interference drives him to anger. The goddess argues that neither Wotan nor Brunhilde may save Siegmund, and that Wotan must withdraw the power of his sword. Only after he agrees does she leave. Brunhilde finds her father sunk in gloom and is told that Wotan hoped to beget an independent race of heroes that could take the all-powerful ring from the giant Fafnir. Now that plan has failed, for there is no way to save Siegmund. Siegmund and the weary Sieglinde now enter. She is delirious with fear and shame, but as Siegmund comforts her, she sleeps. Brunhilde appears to forewarn Siegmund that he is doomed by fate. And prophesies his death. Siegmund scorns her promise of Valhalla and says he will win victory for his bride, who now carries his son. Understanding that this is the hero capable of regaining the ring, Brunhilde decides to disobey her father. Hunding approaches, and the 2 men join battle. As Brunhilde tries to protect Siegmund with her shield, Wotan orders her back. The god shatters Siegmund's sword, and Hunding pierces his chest with his spear. Gathering the sword fragments, Brunhilde lifts the fainting Sieglinde to her horse and rides away. Wotan contemptuously tells Hunding to give his thanks to Fricka, and with an imperious gesture makes him fall dead, then sets off in pursuit of his disobedient daughter. As Act 3 begins, the other Valkyries gather, some riding through the sky with warriors slain in various battles. The Valkyries watch for Brunhilde, who is to bring the dead Siegmund from the field. They are shocked to find her carrying a woman, with the angry Wotan in pursuit, and they are afraid to conceal her from her father. Brunhilde knows that she will be punished, and directs Sieglinde to the forest near the cave where Fafner, in the shape of a dragon, hides the Nibelung treasure. There, Sieglinde will be safe from Wotan, and will bear her son, the world's hero, Siegfried. Accepting the fragments of Sigmund's shattered sword, Sieglinde praises the miracle that led Brunhilde to her rescue. In fact, Brunhilde has brought about the world's redemption by love. As Sieglinde hurries away, Wotan approaches in a fury. The Valkyries cluster around their sister, hoping to conceal her. But Wotan commands Brunhilde to step forth. No longer a Valkyrie, she is banished from his sight, to be placed under a spell on a rock at a mountain summit, and claimed by the first man who finds her, lying in deep sleep. Believing that in protecting Siegmund she was obeying her father's true wishes, Brunhilde was moved by pity for Siegmund, by love of the Volsungs as a new breed of heroes. Brunhilde asks her father at least to set a barrier of fire around the rock where she will rest, so that only a hero can claim her. To this he agrees, and laying her down to sleep. Wotan bids her farewell. Loge's fire is summoned to surround Brunhilde, and to the notes of the Siegfried motif, Wotan decrees that he who fears my spear's point will never penetrate the fire.